Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. It is done. Garnacho is now he is a Chelsea player, or at least according to Fabrizio Romano. It is a here we go. And this is one of the transfer sagas, to be honest, that's been talked about more than any. And in some ways positive, in other ways not so positive, because a lot of fans have said, why does Fabrizio Romano keep tweeting about Garnacho to Chelsea? Almost felt like it was forced. But there's also a part of it where, as a journalist, if you're putting your neck out on the line so much every day, saying this is going to happen, it's very likely it's going to happen, blah, 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 and it's happened. So, hey, fair play to Fabrizio. And it's done. Alejandro Garnacho is going to be going to Chelsea. He will sign a 7-year deal at Chelsea for a fee close to £40 million as a total package. So again, let's just highlight the fact that it's a total package. So that does not mean that it is a flat £40 million fee. This is most likely sort of 30 odd, maybe 35 million. And then that will rise with add-ons and incentive-based bonuses. So that is most likely what's gone on there. There is also a sell-on clause, which is included as well. So United will receive a percentage of money if Chelsea were to ever sell Garnacho. Now, from what I've heard, there's a guy called Sam who used to be a regular on the United stand. He reported that there would be about a 10% sell-on clause for for Garnacho. So, yeah, Manchester United will receive a 10% sell-on fee for Garnacho. It will see him becoming the largest sale of a Manchester United Football Academy graduate. So from a United standpoint, they obviously wanted more than 40 million initially. They wanted about 50. Chelsea's first offer was 25 million. And then they found a compromise in the middle. They found a middle ground at 40 million pounds. Now, listen, this is a very, very interesting transfer because I think it divides opinion a lot. And I think there's some people like me who are pretty, pardon me, pretty optimistic about Garnacho coming to Chelsea. Have always been pretty optimistic about it at the right price. And my take on this was always at the right price. I think Garnacho is a good deal. Do I think we've got the right price here? I'll be honest with you. I think it's a fair deal. I don't think it's a great deal. I don't think it's a bad deal. I think it's a fair deal. And I honestly think that everyone should walk away from this pretty happy. I'm not sitting here saying that we've pulled United's pants down because we haven't. We haven't. We weren't able to negotiate a 25, 30, 35 million pound deal. At least not to my knowledge as it stands right now. It could be that we paid 30 million with 10 million of incentive-based add-ons. So in that case, I'd say it's probably better. But again, I'm sure those details will come out. I mean, Garnacho's had a very topsy-turvy time at Man United. Like, he obviously broke into the squad under Ten Hag. I actually thought he was a very good player under Ten Hag, and he's had some good moments. Scored in an FA Cup final, scored in the Community Shield as well. And listen, he's certainly contributed to Man United whilst he's been trusted, I would say. Under Amorim, he was never really trusted. I mean, for whatever reason, there seems to be a problem. And if I'm honest, I mean, why wouldn't you want to leave Man United? The way that club's going, they just lost to Grimsby Town, and I don't blame Garnacho whatsoever for wanting to get away from that toxic environment. But I think all in all, we have got a player with experience who's not ready-made, but it is exactly that caliber of player that you want if you're going to sign a young player, where it's not like they've never played any minutes. Garnacho's played Champions League football. He's played Europa League football. He's played in cup finals. He's played in Premier League campaigns, right? If you're looking at all of his appearances in the Premier League, he's played 93 times, okay? Over 5,000 minutes in the Premier League. In Europe, he's played 27 times. There is no doubt that we have a player who has had enough time to get to grips with English football and establish himself as a decent enough player to play at that level. Now, I don't want anyone to think by any means that I think Garnacho is going to start every week for Chelsea, but let's just compare this deal to Jamie Gittins, right? We paid 55 million for Gittins. We paid 40 million as it stands. That's what we're being told as a package for Garnacho. I'm going to ask you in the chat right now, which deal do you think is better value for money? Which deal is better? And I'd have to say, if you're looking at it the short term, I've got to go Garnacho. I have to say Garnacho. Like, I'm looking at what Jamie Gittins can bring to Chelsea, and I see a lot of positive things. But on that left-hand side, no Tyreek George either. He's most likely going to be moved on. Chelsea are speaking with a number of clubs, about his departure. It makes perfect sense to bring Garnacho in, especially because that left-hand side, Esteval, that's not his preferred position. Neto can play on the left. He can also play on the right. But I think in an ideal world, you either have Neto or Esteval on the right, Palmer down the middle, and then you would have Garnacho on the left. I would start Garnacho over Gittins. I would start him over Tyreek George as well. So both of those players, in my opinion, I think Garnacho's more ready to start in the Premier League. I think he's more established. And I think he's just, that's it really. A lot of question marks about his attitude at Man United. I really don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't think it's going to be a massive issue. For me, the Garnacho saga is very much like anything, right? Put yourself in this position. You walk into a company, you're in an environment, maybe it's a school, whatever, and things don't go the way you want. And people are toxic. Your teachers aren't very good. You're not learning much. Your teachers keep getting sacked. Your co-workers aren't pulling their weight, or your manager, whatever the fuck. You understand the point. It's a toxic environment. Are you going to have the means to progress in that environment when everything around you is actually making it harder for you to improve and focus rather than easier? So much attention, so much pressure, so much expectation, such a lack of quality in terms of the squad. This is before Mbeumo and Cunha, obviously. And there's just no direction, and very, very, very difficult to justify wanting to stay at Man United when you've got other options like Chelsea. And I have to say as well, I've got a lot of respect for Garnacho after this window, because he has said from minute dot, I want Chelsea. I want to be a part of this project. I want to be a part of Enzo Maresca's squad. I am committed to joining Chelsea. This is something that won't get talked about enough, but deserves to be talked about. It deserves to be spoken about. Garnacho has put his neck on the line to join Chelsea. And now the move has happened. You have my respect. He has my respect for the way he's handled himself during these negotiations. I obviously know that there's a very bitter feeling between him and Man United. That's not what I'm saying I respect him for. But I respect the fact that he turned down multiple European clubs. I respect the fact that when the Saudis tried to come and speak to him to see if he was interested in going to the Saudi Pro League, he said, no, I want to go to Chelsea. I respect the fact that every time there's been an update on Garnacho, there has been a clear willingness from the player's side to go down the route of coming to West London. And a lot of players will flip-flop. A lot of players, they're not as committed as you think. And I believe that Garnacho has shown he's very, very committed to the club. He signed a 7-year contract as well, guys. Another long-term deal. We've got him pinned down. We will definitely be able to get our money back for Garnacho as well. So again, when we talk about the fee, it's slightly higher than we wanted. I agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't have paid 40 million. I would have paid 30, 35. But I've always said that if it did come to it, add-ons, take it up to 40 million, it's not something that I will go, oh, yeah, I'll definitely do that. But the negotiations seem to have gone in that direction. So clearly we've tried to get better value for this deal, but we've ended up paying a little bit more. But I don't feel like we've been ripped off. And I don't think Man United fans should feel like they've been ripped off, honestly. This is one of those deals where you both shake hands and you go, we both got a good deal here. We both got a fair deal. Yeah, a solid 6, 7 out of 10. It was all right. It was okay. I don't feel mugged off. And I don't think that Man United fans should feel mugged off either. Let's not forget, you're in a situation where you need to raise funds. You've got a serious financial issue at your club. The player refuses to play for you, doesn't want to play for you. So it's in everyone's best interest for this deal to happen. And now it seems like it's there. So listen, I don't know if Garnacho is going to come straight into the squad for Fulham. I doubt it. But you know, we'll have to see what happens there. I just look forward to seeing him playing for Chelsea and playing on that left-hand side. And I do think, at least, especially by the Brentford game, I think that's when Garnacho will probably come in, because you would have had a little bit of time to adapt. But all in all, guys, very happy with this deal. Very happy, very content. And I think it's a solid signing. The number one word I would use is it's fair. It's a fair deal. It's a fair deal. Nobody got their pants pulled down. Everyone can walk home knowing that they got something that makes life for their club a little bit easier. From Chelsea's perspective, they've got more depth on that left-hand side. And obviously, they're going to be able to offload more players because of it. Hopefully, Tyreek George. I mean, that seems like the main one. And Kunku's obviously gone to AC Milan as well. Things are looking good, guys. And this is another step in the right direction. Anyone that criticizes this transfer window, honestly, I think it's ridiculous. I think Chelsea have had a stunning window. I think it's been brilliant. And I think it can get better. But I mean, we were just speaking about loyalty and how committed Garnacho's been to Chelsea. The next step is to see what happens with Xavi Simons, because if he chooses Tottenham over Chelsea, I know Tottenham have obviously come in with an attempt to hijack this deal, then maybe something could change there. There's also links with Fermin Lopez from Barcelona, but we'll have to see how that one progresses. But let me know what you think in the comments, if you're happy with this deal, if you're unhappy. I personally think that Garnacho will be a starter for Chelsea. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be our best player, but I do see him starting ahead of Gittins. I do see him starting ahead of Tyreek George. And obviously, we're going to have to rotate in a number of games anyway. So there's not going to be any shortage of opportunity for him. So I wish him all the best. And hopefully, this can be a successful transfer for Chelsea.